HarperCollins has created several book apps that are free in the App Store called Big Cat Books. So if you go for a search for Collins Big Cat, you'll see the different books that are available. And I have all of them. And if you take a look at them overall in the ratings and reviews, they've done pretty well. Most of them have 4 to 4.5 stars in their ratings. And when I look at our East Valley app evaluation, I've got a mode score of 4. And just like our other apps, it's done pretty well, except for it does not give feedback to the students. And this one is a little more difficult to kind of capture and keep the students' creations, but I'll show you how we do that when we take a look at the app. When you open up one of the Big Cat HarperCollins books, you'll see that the students have an option to have the book read to them, read the book by themselves, or create their own story. When I go to read by myself, there's some cool options as well. These books are interactive. The kids can do some different things to touch different objects, move different objects, and so forth. But you'll see down here in the bottom toolbar, it gives them some hints if it's interactive. They can choose to listen to it, and you'll see that it goes word by word for the students to help them with the reading. The thing that I love is that the students can work on their own fluency and record their voice for the book to be told, and you can check to see how they're doing with their own reading. When we go into Story Creator, the students can summarize the book, maybe tell you about the setting and set up the setting for the book, or they can create their own story. So when we get into the Story Creator, you'll see along the bottom we have some different background scenes to choose from. And some of them are illustrations from the book, and some of them are actual images that the students can use that relate to the story that they just read. After choosing a scene in the setting of the book, they can add different objects. So I'm going to do kind of a recall of the story that the students just read and ask them to tell me, where does the hedgehog live? Well, the hedgehog lives in a pile of leaves. So when I add an object, I can just use the arrow to make the image as big or as small as I want. I can rotate it by clicking on the little rotator there. Or if I don't like the image, I can go ahead and click delete, but I can click in the center and move it anywhere I want. I can also add my characters, so I can see here that there's some different characters from images to actual snapshots of animals. So I'm going to go ahead and choose little Mr. Hedgehog here from the story. And again, I can move him anywhere I want. I can make him as small or as big as I want just by clicking on the little arrows, and I can rotate him if I want to. Then I can go ahead and add some text. So you can either do them in little speech bubbles or add text to the book. So I'm going to go ahead and say little Mr. Hedgehog here. Click on the A, allows me to add text. And this is what my favorite thing is here. If you have students, they can go ahead and write out, and they know how to spell my home, or they can click on keywords here and choose from keywords that were from the story that they just read. So it's my home. Well, there's my. Go ahead and put a space in there. And it's his home. So there's home. And I can go ahead and click that. Again, I can move my little speech bubble. And voila, I have one page in my book. Next thing the students can do is they can actually record their voice telling the story. So I click the record down here. I go ahead and say, record. Hello, my name is Mr. Hedgehog and I live in the leaves. Stop, and I can play it back to see how it sounds.
Hello, my name is Mr. Hedgehog and I live in the leaves.
So when I'm done recording, I go ahead and push the X there, and at any time I can go ahead and listen to it again by just listening
Hello,
here.
my name is Mr. Hedgehog and I live in the leaves.
To create the next page of my book, I just go ahead and click the arrow here. So when I'm finished with a book, go ahead and click on this little book icon here, and you'll see all the different books that are available in this particular app. And this is where they're saved. There's nowhere to really export it. You could do a screenshot by holding down the home button and your sleep button real quick together and take some screenshots of the different pages and save it in your photo library. But as a teacher, if you just go back into the app, you can click on the different books that have been created by your students in here. And in those books, you'll see down here are the different pages. This is also how you can do some editing with your pages and your books. If you go ahead and hold down your finger on there, you can see you can delete a page. So let's say I really didn't want that page in my book. I want to start with this page in my book. Or if you're done with a certain set of books, I can clean it up when you're done with all the students' work. Go ahead and hold down on the book, same thing. You can say, I no longer need that book, and delete that book out of there. And of course, if all else fails and you need some more help, there's this little help here. It'll give you some more pointers and some clues on how to use the story creator in the HarperCollins books.